this and physically get into that character. That is not the case. With Shobna, it happened in the first scene itself. The first scene was a scene with Bade Raja sir, where he's put that face back on his face. That was the first scene. So we did 2 shots, and then Dhanush came up to me and said, "Look, this is like Nitya, this is not Shobna, you know. You see that thing that she is, this is what she would like." And that's it. I immediately, the next shot we did it, and we're like, okay, we got it. This is Shobana.
You know, when we're talking about Nitya now, yes, she's been in the industry for so long. The journey started in 2006 with a Kannada movie, yeah. And in Malayalam, she started in 2008, Akashagopuram. But the first time I saw her was for this anthology movie, Kerala Cafe. I don't know how many of you would have seen it. And the section of hers was Happy Journey, which was directed by Nithya Menen. And she was with this unbelievable powerhouse of a talent that is Jagadish Kumar sir. And I remember seeing that sequence, and I'm still getting goosebumps. And I'm like, who is this girl? You know, I was like, wow. And to hold her own against somebody like Jagadish sir. And there also, even she just started out, okay? It was not much into the industry. There also you could see those nuanced expressions, very subtle acting, and it was a beautiful short film, and I loved her in it. And ever since I've been just following her work, then of course multi languages, so many other movies outside Kerala is a little difficult to follow, but I still have seen, you know, a lot of Tamil movies of yours. In those days, as an actor, the way you approached the character, and today, when you look at the characters, is there a difference in the way you approach or treat it internally?
Internally, no, but I think there is a little bit of a difference in the sense at that time I used to be very unconscious, like completely not conscious. Like what we are saying today, my first film was with Mohanlal sir, but I was not at all conscious that he's there, or because I never thought I would be in this like film, so I didn't care. I'm just gonna do one film and go off. So it didn't matter. So I was very unconscious about anything. They're saying, okay, do this. I was doing it. It was just happening very spontaneously. So I missed that. I wish I was that unconscious, but it's not possible after 15 years, you know, to be like that. So now it's a little more conscious. I know, oh, what I'm getting into and all that. But internally, it's the same process. It's just like an extension of who I am. That's what the acting has always been. If I am able to feel something inside and I'm able to process an emotion a certain way, you will see that on screen. So it's just an extension of me. It's not something I'm doing, you know.
But the mannerisms have to be different, no? Like from one character to another.
Yeah, but
that's the tricky part. How do you do that? When you're
that's the acting part. But in a large sense, it is very much an extension of my soul, and so that's subtlety and nuance, to be able to understand certain things, certain situations. We play a mother, for example, right? I've never been a mother, but where does that come from? That comes from a EQ, which is not from personal experience, or it's not method, right? So I always, personally, I've always felt that acting always has to come from the human being that you are. And you are as good an actor, as perceptive as you are as a human being.
And how about the psychology of the characters? Because, you know, when you have to portray a certain character in a certain way, like you said, she laughs with her face closed. That means she's somebody who's used to repressing herself in a certain way. I'm just guessing, I don't know if I'm right. She represses how she feels. She doesn't portray her true self most of the time. is, do you get into those aspects of
No,
psychology
it's
to understand
not-
the character and get the nuances out?
Yeah, no, I never ever ask questions to directors like what would she do, how would she keep her hand, how would she walk and all that. Which I always get that feedback from directors. And Nithya never asks a question. She never says, would this character do this? Because that's again intellectualizing it. What would she do? It's not actually do, it's a more of an understanding of this world that we are talking about. When you're talking about Shobna, it's not really repression, but it's that world. It's that place where they are from. How would they, be? So just understanding that, and the rest is natural. Whatever you're seeing me doing it just happened. It's from an understanding of the world.
Taking to the other side, like you have grown as an actor, what are the things that hinders the process of growing as an actor?
That's a very good question. Which, by the way, I'm finding an answer to now. Rigidity. If you ever feel like I can't work when something is like this, or this person is like this, or this my vibe and this person's vibe is not the same, or something like that, then it doesn't work for you. As an actor, you have to be so fluid and you have to be so accepting of different kinds of methods of working, different kinds of people. The minute you do that, trust me, the job becomes so easy. It becomes simple. And you connect more to the people that you're working with, and you're able to enjoy your process. So initially you may feel like, I've worked with a lot of people that people have said, oh my God, can't even imagine the two of you like even working together. But I have got along brilliantly with those people. So that's because of an open-mindedness. They may be very different, but you still accepting of that, then you can just go beautifully with that process. And the second thing I think is confidence. I've seen a lot of actors really struggling when I watch, I know that they can do it. But it's because they're scared or they're nervous or they're not confident about themselves that they start faltering. I think that was also what worked for me from the beginning. It didn't matter that much for me to be nervous. I always thought this is my last film. After this, I'm gonna go do something else. So I didn't have a reason to be nervous or scared. So I was always very confident. And I was like, yeah, what should I do? And I did it, which is why it worked so well, I think, sometimes when I was so young. So I think if you just confidently just do it, that really works.
So I heard a lot of actors talk about give and take with the opposite, the actor with you, whoever is performing the scene, the transaction, the support. I know a lot of things that happen behind the scenes as well. I mean, though on camera a lot of things are spoken, but behind the scenes might be a completely different scenario, Nithya. So when you are in a situation where you are not with an actor who augments or supports or encourages your performance or takes it to the elevated state, how do you deal with that? Because I personally feel that acting is it's a transaction of energy of sorts. There is something which is happening between the two people. But if you don't get that, what do you do?
It's very unfortunate to say this, but that what you're saying, that someone like takes it to an elevated level, never happened. Never happened with me. It has happened once or twice when I felt it, and you should see how we celebrated it. Oh my God, this is how we're supposed to feel and all that. But it doesn't actually happen like that. because I find that, I don't know, again, talking about nuance, that nuance comes when there's a certain energy, around the set. What are we making? I find that a lot of times we are more fixated on just getting the job done that day. Nobody understands the need for silence for an actor. So there's just chaos around you just before the take. So you're like, you're not even ready to sort of really take it in. So that process, that very internal sort of emotional exchange process, I would say doesn't happen. If it happens, it's very rare. I felt it a little bit when I was working in Breathe, because they gave me that space. They gave me silence. Like the director, I really liked Mayank like that, because he understood that subtlety and that sort of intensity that I had to portray. So he that set would actually be silent and cleared and empty. So I have cried on Breathe without any, just on the thing. I didn't know I could do it because I never had the environment to be able to do it. But yeah, so.
Another very important point here to be raised is because she's worked in so many languages, and I think when she started out in Telugu, she didn't really understand the language. You had to learn the language in order to, with the consecutive movies, you learn the language. So when you're working in multiple movies, and I hear a lot of filmmakers down south, especially in Malayalam, let me take the permission to speak in Malayalam. They say, "I meter made pidikano, taade pidikano, evada pidikano meter." Do you relate to it? Yeah. I meter evada pidikano narilla. That means you have to get that pitch right of the tone of the movie right. So a lot of actors say that I had to ask the director, where do you want the meter evada pidikano? So when you work in Tamil, you work in Telugu, Kannada, and I'm sure the meters vary from one film industry to the other. Where do you pitch and place yourself emotionally or expressively or voice-wise, modulation-wise?
I think
have you got that right? Have you figured it out?
I never thought of it until now when you're saying it. I do that. I never ask again. I never ask someone else, evada pidikkanam meter. But I figure it out. Like I observe and I see what they want. I'm always trying to understand what the director wants. What is he wanting from me? What kind of a performance? So I kind of watch that and I figure out. So yes, there is this meter thing that you're talking about. Recently, I've had to kind of deal with a very different meter, starting with Tiruchitrambalam, where I thought it was little up, and but nothing like what I'm doing now, whether it's with Idli Kadai or with the Pandyaraj film that I'm doing next with Vijay Sethupathi. Both the meters are little more up. Yeah, with Pandyaraj sir's film, the meter is quite up. As in,
it's a comedy. Go for a toss there?
Yes, absolutely. It's not subtle at all. So, but it's a comedy. And it's a different kind of a film. And see, we need to understand that comedy can also be different types. It can be all the way from slapstick to very subtle, like British humor.
Caustic.
But this comedy is, the meter is up. So it's a beautiful, I like it. For an actor, it's an interesting space. It's a nice, different kind of a performance that I've done. But I've realized that meter is a little bit high. So I go through an internal process to adjust myself to that meter, because I personally gravitate towards subtlety and doing things as less as possible. But when you have to do this and you know that that's the meter of the film, then I go through a process. Okay, I have to open myself up to sort of just go for it and embrace this meter.
Generalizing between all languages, but do you see the meter difference between all languages there, like Malayalam?
No, I don't think meet between languages.
There's
No,
no difference. From film to film is
I
what
think
you
I
feel.
just